Dungeon Master here, and we are here for our first Pokemon theory. Today, as you saw from the title, I will be trying to, explain some theories, some explanations for what is cubone. So let's get into this. Here's a good question that many of us, when we started playing Pokemon, many of us had one question on our mind through the entire thing. When we saw him, one question came up. What or who is cubone? He's an interesting sort. There's two Pokemon that most people think he could be. But let's first get some facts out of the way. Now, when I present these, you may say, no, impossible, because his color scheme or his moves. Now, Cubone is his own Pokemon, and depending on if he was something before being Cubone, when he became Cubone, he could have easily changed his type depending on what was happening during that time when he turned into this Pokemon and learned his own set of moves as his own Pokemon. And to do this, to understand what he is, we will be asking one question through this. Who is Cubone's mother? Now, I know some of you are going to say, oh, we already know this. His mother is no other than Marowak. Now, when saying this, you are correct and incorrect at the same time. Yes, Cubone is and can be Marowak's son, daughter, offspring, you can say. But who would this Marowak's mother be? Obviously, he started out as a Cubone. And that Cubone must have started out as something. Because it is possible that it was its own species, but it is strange. So I will be explaining. There's two options that come up the most. One, that it is a baby Kangaskhan, and its mother would be a Kangaskhan, or it is a a Charmander. I'll just do this. Okay, that means its mother would be a Charizard. So I'll be proving or disproving both theories. Let's start with the theory of it being a Charizard. So when saying this, some of you may think, yeah, it's totally a Charizard. Well, let's say, and some of you may be saying not. Let's first start off, a Cubone. It's a different color scheme than a Charizard because obviously a baby Charmander is red. We saw it. A baby Charmander is red, as shown here. But it is said that when it is born, its eternal flame is lit. Now, if the mother dies while the baby is yet to be born, there's a good chance that its eternal flame will never be lit, which is a good chance that it's going to change its type to ground. It could change its type, and it could be changed to ground, such as what a Cubone is, and probably would change its color to possibly what Cubone's is. So, yes, that means that part of it is possible. But now, this is the part that I believe makes this theory false. That is the skull that Cubone wears. Now, cubone has a skull on its head, and the skull would probably match its parent. The skull does have the horns as shown on Charizard's, but the design on the rest of the head does not match Charizard's. So that's why I think that disproves that theory. Because, let's explain this. I do want to go back to when I said, some of you will say that, I forgot, I know, I haven't gone to the other theory of the Kangaskhan, but I will get to that. And I do want to say that a Kangaskhan is its own species. Some of you may be confused by this. A Kangaskhan, once it has, because, let's explain this. One reason that a Kangaskhan can be created is if, when it is born and its mother is dead, there is a good chance that it will eat its mother for food and survival, and will sleep inside the skull of its mother. Now, as it ages and does that, it will eventually mold into the head, which is creating the cubone. And that would explain why Marowak would have a cubone, and the cubone skull, and the Marowak's child would have a cubone skull, because it is now in their DNA. It's its own separate Pokemon. I do want to explain that, in case some of you are confused of something. So just trying to get that out of the way. Another theory is that it is a baby Kangaskhan. Now, of course, in the older editions of Pokemon, its color does match a cubone. But its color has changed. But as it ages, it obviously will turn into the color. So take it as if it gets a little bit older. So the theory of this is, obviously, I explained that it's its own Pokemon, so it would learn its own moves and all that. So, yes, it's all possible there. Now, another thing, we're coming to the skull again. Obviously, this skull is a lot different than the cubone skull, but the Kangaskhan is very high armored. It has a lot of extra armor plating on itself. Now, let's take its head. The horns, we'll start with that. The ears. It has to protect its child a lot, so it would make sense that the ears have a very strong bone in it to keep it from getting ripped off. So that would definitely explain the horn things in the back. Now, the rest of the head matches pretty well, but one thing that keeps it from is this part right up here, an extra metal plate. Now, when the skull itself comes into its part, this up here, I believe, would not stay. It would eventually mold off, because this is just an extra plate. I don't think it would stay on the skull. Like, its skull is itself, and it's gained these metal plates as its own Pokemon. So I believe that the skull is not actually, like, how do I explain this? The cubone could easily, if you take that part off, it almost completely matches the cubone skull. So, because the cubone skull obviously doesn't have a bottom jaw. Say you take out that bottom jaw, now look at it, and take off that plate. It looks a lot like the cubone skull. So, I think mostly that the cubone is a baby Kangaskhan. Now, of course, it could be a Charizard, and it could be its own species itself. These are just theories, and I have no proof of anything. So, I just want to help you guys as in deciding of what you think. This is my theory, it's my opinion, and you may have other opinions. So, like I said, it's just an opinion, and anything's possible. But I believe that we may never know what a cubone is, because the cubone has been around for a while, and if they haven't explained what a cubone is by now, there's a good chance it never will, but it might. Again, theory. So this is all I have to say about this theory. I should have another one coming out soon, if I can get around to it. If not, I might just take a break, because I've been uploading a lot of videos today. This should be my 10th video today. I'm tired, and I want to take a break. But it may be out, it may not be. We'll just see. So this is Ninja Master out. See you guys.